Old school, new school, need to learn that.
Welcome back to Old School.
New School.
I'm Spud Brooklyn.
I'm Sincere.
And today we got
Sincero.
Yeah, the Lady
I'm
Zero.
good.
We got Sincero, the Lady Zero. That's his name. He
Can you
solidified
stop
that
saying
on the
that?
last show.
No, I did not. You solidified that.
No,
you gave me that
no,
name.
No, that's
Being rude,
I didn't say
bro.
that. You said the
No, I said
Spanish. You said the
Sincero.
Spanish mommies.
I said they call
You said the Spanish mommies called me Sincero.
Man, whatever, bro.
Today we gonna have a battle of the old school
New school.
versus the new school,
Yeah.
in a sense, because you might pick some old school shit. I know I got a new
I
school.
got one new school joint.
I got a new school joint in mine. I think I got
one.
two.
Let me see. I got one.
Two new school. But we going over diss records.
I got one.
We going over hip hop diss records. What's the top 5 diss records in your life? Today we gonna go on ours. We're gonna go on me and his. We're gonna battle, see which one on. Then we're gonna have some commentary. Feel free to give your opinion. Comment
Hit us
and let us know if we
on the
missed
gram.
one. Cause
Yeah.
there's been a lot out there. But we're gonna give our
Culture.
a little background on ours and why and what it meant to the culture.
And see if you
And
match up.
I know he probably got some slum. He probably got some bullshit in there. Got like Vanilla Ice or some dumb shit.
What did
What
we
all right,
doing?
Set it off.
we
what?
doing 1, 5 and down?
Nah,
or
go 1-1. What's your number one?
Hit 'em up.
Hit 'em up. Hit 'em up is your number one diss record.
Just because for the time, for that period of the East Coast, West Coast beef, what it did, Pac, Big, I think what it did, I mean,
On
for
air
the-
with this shit making all kind of goddamn.
I'm a busy man, you know what I'm saying? I'm a busy man. Yeah, nah.
Hit 'em up.
Yeah, only because for that time, like that was the East Coast West Coast beef was a big thing in the culture,
Okay.
and it shifted a lot. So I think Hit 'Em Up was a big record for
That-
Pac and for Bad Boy, for Death Row. It was a big record. It brought people into the world in a negative way, but it brought the ears and the eyes.
Hit 'em up. I feel you. Hit 'em up was a big slap in the face. Like
Yeah.
it was a backhand.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
of course at that time being on the East Coast and being a Biggie
Fan.
supporter, the record was just like, all right, cool. It didn't have the big impact with me per se
I agree.
at the time, but the record itself,
Culturally, it did.
yeah, for the culture itself and for hip hop and for the communities, that record was like, ooh, oh shit,
Yeah.
he dissed.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But I didn't dislike the record. It just was like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? They beefing.
yeah.
Um,
Well, Pac beefing with him.
Yeah, Pac was beefing, and you know, Pac was doing his thing. So
Yeah,
it was cool. It was cool.
you know.
It was cool for the culture. My number one though.
Mm.
My number one is "The Bridge Is Over" by
KRS
One.
That's a fire one. That's my
And kind of like what you said, for the culture of
At that
like
time,
the
right?
diss record,
yeah.
he kind of solidified and set the blueprint
For
of diss records.
Yeah, I feel you. I
Not
feel
only
you.
did he have a problem with MC Shan for the line, it started out in the park. We used to do it out in the park, whatever. And KRS One felt like, yo, it started out in the Bronx. He dissed not only MC Shan and Marley Marl, he dissed the whole projects of Queensborough. He said the bridge is over. And then he
All
went
y'all.
to even diss the whole Queens, saying, yo, Queens keep on faking it. That to me was like the ultimate diss. Like, he wasn't just dissing the individual, he was dissing the whole standpoint. Where you come from, everything.
And they the only spot that like got a negative in that whole thing, right? Like Manhattan.
Yes, yeah. He
Manhattan,
said
Brooklyn.
Bronx keep creating it. He said Manhattan keep on making it. Bronx keep creating it. Brooklyn keep on taking it. And Queens keep on faking it.
They got nothing positive.
Yeah. He just so that's my number one. I think that's the
I'm with you.
blueprint of this record. Like,
I could see that.
and not only the blueprint, he went the mile on it.
Yeah, I
You
feel
know
you.
what I'm saying? He went the mile and just dissed everybody. He even dissed the Juice Crew. You know what I'm saying? Which had Big Daddy Kane in it. They had artists from Long Island in it, Brooklyn. So he just
It went everywhere.
He went everywhere. Like he let his gun go on that. And I think that was just like hip hop at its purest for the diss record. You know
I
what I'm
dig.
saying? So that's my number one.
I could see that
That's
for
my
sure.
number one. That's my number one.
That was my number 4.
Ooh, okay. That's your number.
Nah, 5.
That's your number 5. Okay.
Only because you older than me, so you kind of remember that impact.
Yes.
I wasn't there for that really.
Okay.
You know what
All
I'm
right,
saying?
but even to have that in your top 5, I'm proud
You
of
put me on to that, though.
I'm proud of you, young.
I didn't really know that record until you told me you made me sit in the booth and was like, yo.
Sit down. Listen.
I was mad bored, like, yo, he done? Is he done? Like,
Yo, you
but
stupid.
nah, that
You
joint caught
stupid.
my eye. So, all right. My number 2 is Ether.
Ooh, Ether.
Yeah.
That, okay.
That
I'm going to
shit.
say this to you. When I first heard Ether, I was locked up at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I was in the box.
Ugh.
Solitary confinement in Green. I was
Roddy
in the
Ricch.
box 200. And they got these 3 holes in the wall. If you make your level and stay out of trouble, you get some headphones. So one is like one is like country, one is rap, and one is like a TV channel, like channel 2. So everyone listening to the rap, and when we heard Ether for the first time, the whole entire box got silent. It was like our mind was blown because, Nas was counted out in
Yeah,
this,
you said
this
that.
battle. He was counted out. in
And
this battle.
career-wise, right?
Career-wise, like, he was beat down. It was it. Like, he wasn't saying nothing back.
Damn.
So when we heard Ether, the impact was like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, he came back.
So it's ironic because my number 2 is Ether.
Wow. Oh.
Yes. So we agreed on that, my brother. That
Okay.
was my number 2. Ether, just the impact. The
Yeah.
way, he came out the dark.
Yeah.
And that shit was just...
And just redeemed himself. You know what I'm saying?
regardless if stuff was factual in the song.
That's what kind of bothered me about it, but you can't deny the impact.
Yeah, the impact itself.
And my friend was telling me, like, yo, the energy of New York at the time, like, she said, like, yo, I was coming from school. We saw posters. Like, it was a real beef. It was like the energy was very like, yo, you on Hove side or you on Nas side?
Yeah, that
like,
shit was crazy.
real.
That shit was crazy. I was going, of course I enjoyed Hove. Nas to me could have been one of the greatest of all time.
You always say that.
Unarguably, but
You always
that's
say
another topic. But
Yeah, he could've.
that record, I don't care if you're a Nas fan or not.
Nah.
That record was like,
And the feel of it.
oh shit! Everybody,
was
you
dark.
had to turn to Jay like,
Damn.
my man, what you gonna do? What you gonna do after that shit? Like, you gotta come back with that
Yeah.
shit. So that is my number 2.
G had the,
That is my top. Yeah, so we tied on the number 2s. We tied on the number 2s. I like that.
My number 3 is Back to Back.
Back to back. Okay, go ahead, talk on that one. Bro.
Nah, only because, man, this is my generation. More so. So I just feel like Drake really, I don't know the feel of it, like on the impact, his tactics, OVO Fest, bringing Will Smith, like what he did around it with the memes, like social media helped push it. Like it was the first diss track that social media actually helped. I felt like
That social media won. Fuck out of here.
it did, but I'm
sorry.
but the record is big. But because
Drake
of that, the
fans
record is big.
They're gonna send me death threats. After
They might.
That shit was whack, bro.
No, I mean,
shit
from
was whack.
from a standpoint, if we're taling about Ether or the Bridges Over,
Shit was garbage.
Compared to those. But again, for this generation, for what him and Meek had,
I need to step y'all shit up.
Meek gave him, Drake gave him a 1-2. You know what I'm saying? So the impact of it being like, oh, boom, boom, Meek being a bad rapper, didn't say nothing bad. It's just the impact of it.
Don't get me wrong.
You know what I'm saying?
The response to the record,
He got him.
the
He got
effects
him.
it was, but to me, like the quality of that diss record was mediocre. I think his fame,
But he didn't have to go crazy.
man, this is hip hop, man. That's like LL.
If somebody
like,
ain't say nothing back,
that's like LL.
you going to the 90s.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you an
You going
example.
to the
LL was at the top of his pinnacle, and Cannabis dissed him, and then LL came out with that record, and they say he won. No, you just was bigger than him. Your record was not all that. It was not all that. It was not all that. And I think Drake's record was not all that. Did the impact happen? Yes, he was a superstar. Like you said, he didn't have to do nothing.
But we didn't
He
expect
could have
that.
whispered,
But
"Fuck me,"
yeah,
and
no.
he bodied me.
No, he did not.
He bodied
But
me.
we didn't. But it was some of his lines. Like
He-
it was like I don't want
How many
to.
writers is on that?
It's just, man, listen, chill. Like, no, it was his lines. Like, you was childish. It was like, I don't want to hear about this ever again. Like, even when she tell you that you better as friends. Like, just, is that your girl tour or your, is that a real tour or your girl's tour? Like, he had catchy, like, it wasn't about a record. It was just about, like, yo, I'm going to bust his face. Like, I'm going to talk my shit.
That was
I'm
a
going to get
nice
at him.
line.
So he had records. I don't think it was, as time progresses, it's not really about the record. It's just about what you're saying. Like,
Okay.
if you getting at him, like,
Okay.
That's why I said for my generation,
I got you.
I could go for that.
I need to
I
step
wanted
that shit
to.
up. But now I get you.
Not we got Kendrick with some
get
shit.
you.
You know what I'm saying? Humble. You know what I mean? We got Kendrick
I got you. I got you.
with the control verse. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I mean, we got that here, but
No, I feel you. I
For
don't want
this.
to. I don't want to taint the guys or,
Don't
or
diss Drake,
downplay.
bro.
But to me, it wasn't. It was not all that.
but I could agree why you would say that
it's not all
compared to the other, like
that. Got you.
even one can admit that Hit 'Em Up wasn't the best diss track.
No, it wasn't.
But it was the impact. It was the time. It was the right,
and
the
that's
right
why
time
it's,
for
to
it.
me,
Death
it's
Row.
not in my top 5 either.
But I can agree to that. I'm a
Gotcha.
Pac fanatic. So.
I know you are.
But I love Biggie as well. You know what I'm saying?
But my third
Is what?
is second round knockout.
Cannabis. That's why you brought it up. That's why you brought it up.
That's why I brought.
Yeah,
No, but it's similar
Quentin
because they say he
Cannabis.
lost that battle. He lost that battle due to LL's fame. Like LL's record was not better than second round knockout.
I'll agree that I kind of went LL because I knew LL.
And that's what
I'll
a
admit
lot of people did.
that.
He was the bigger act. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But Cannabis record was what did it for me, especially at the time when I watched the video. Like I witnessed it in its making.
Time,
yeah,
it's a different tune.
What did it for me was the fact that he went up against
Somebody like that.
that was on the verge to being an icon legend. He went against a solidified artist who was known for battling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? LL was known to not duck a punch and throw one
Yeah.
back. So he took that shot. You know what I'm saying? He called it a second round knockout because allegedly LL took shots at him on that 4-3-2-1 record.
Yeah.
He's like, that mic on my arm, you can't
I
have
remember
that,
that.
whatever.
Yeah.
He took shots at
That was on
Cannabis.
Beef.
Yeah, so to call it a second round knockout, and he made a complete record out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that was like, oh.
It was a dope record.
Shit. And the shit he was saying, like, Minister Farrakhan, like he was going and he was like, I do it in front of your first, second, and third bond, like he was going in, like,
Yeah.
so that's my third, like,
And he raps better than L. And he raps better than
did,
L.
because I heard
does
him
rap
recently and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
LL be getting busy, bro. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, L gets busy, but
It's kind of predictable though.
what's predictable?
LL's flow and
Yeah, I mean, he's old. He's an older guy now. You know what I'm saying? He still could spit some circles around a lot of artists, but I could see the cobwebs a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
No, just a little bit.
you doing
Just a little
shit.
bit. So, second round knockout. That's my third of all time diss record.
Okay.
What you got for 4?
Oh, I gotta take the shorty back.
This is getting Texan shorties on air.
Sorry, you all.
I was about to say something foul. I'm not even gonna say it. I
Chill.
was like, you better be getting
Take over.
boxed or something. It's like, you doing this on air, you something, a pet kiss or something. Like, come on.
Take over.
Take over. Ooh. I gotta give you that. That's my number. That's my number 4.
bro.
Takeover's my number 4
Dang.
of all time. Takeover.
Dang. Yeah.
What's
Hope's
the-
calmness. Like Nas, you heard Nas.
Yeah.
He wanted it. Like he was trying to. Jay was just like his finesse
Yes.
with the, and of course I know you about to say it. Go ahead and say it.
When he dropped
The factual.
You don't know who did what with who. Let's keep that between me and you. Like that was like he really was like getting on this man's skin because
Yeah.
nobody in the world knew what the fuck he was
talking about. Yeah.
But he was like, like he was really poking at him. But what I like about
That was
Takeover
clever.
was it wasn't a Nas diss record.
It was a record.
It was Mobb Deep's diss record.
Oh.
He was dissing Mobb
I
Deep.
think you told me that.
He left the last verse
For Nas.
just doing Nas, like even if Nas wanted, like I'm gonna get at Nas too, like it was a Mobb Deep record,
And Prodigy,
but
right?
the Prodigy really.
What's up? Yeah.
But the highlight of it was his diss to Nas. So I like the fact that Ether, and a lot of people don't want to say this, even though the impact of Ether was so big, Ether was created because of a verse. Like,
from what you
and
said
people
on
compare Takeover to Ether.
You can't
When you
really-
actually compete in a verse to a complete record,
Okay,
because the
yeah.
rest of the song he was talking about Prodigy.
Yeah.
So that's why it's my number 4. And the fact that the two titans at the time, like
Nah.
Nas was a titan,
Hove, yeah.
and Hove like all right, I'm fucking up with this little dude, which he was looking at Mobb Deep as little dudes
Yeah.
compared to him in his stand-up career. But then at the end, he was like, okay, and
I'ma
the big
get-
dog
can
too.
get
If he wanna whistle at this way, you
Can
know what I'm
get-
saying? He wanna whistle. We gonna.
But Jake still seems like big homie
he did
with Nas. Like he just still seems like big homie.
He
Maybe
lost
'cause he
that
older.
battle. He lost that battle, but won the war.
Hove.
Hove won.
I
the
agree
war.
with that.
He won.
I
the war.
agree. Especially when he signed him.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, Nas.
Yeah.
That check better have been worth it.
Yes. most
Damn,
definitely.
because
But
you wildin'.
that was it. That was the time, and he most definitely rose out of that. They both rose out of it.
Yeah.
They both rose into better circumstances for themselves
To make it. Yeah.
to make it. But
It helped them both.
Takeover is my number 4.
All right. The Bridge is Over is my 5th.
Your
We
5th.
talked about it.
Okay.
What's your 5th?
My 5th is the Pusha T joint for Drake. I'm sorry. And the only reason why, yes,
But if you,
and the only reason why,
because the impact with the baby.
not only the impact with the baby, he shut his fucking mouth after that. He shut his mouth because if it was the Meek situation, they ain't letting Meek. Oh, Meek ain't come back. He could. That man shut his mouth. He had people speaking for him. Prince Jay Prince. He had all these
Don't mess
motherfuckers.
up.
I already fucking that man name
Yeah,
up.
that's legend.
He had a whole bunch of people speaking up for him. Oh, he had one that could have ended his career. Then end his career.
I agree
End
with
his
that.
career. This is hip hop. Bust your shot. Don't talk about you got the bullets.
I agree. Okay, I agree with that, but I don't think.
And I'm talking about impact for in this time.
But replay.
I haven't
I'm
had
thinking
it-
about play value. Like I wouldn't play the story of Adidon again. Like it was good for the impact. I get what you're saying, but I'm saying, like back to back, I would play that again. Like the
I
beat,
wouldn't.
it was, but the beat, the record. You wouldn't play story of Adidon again. You wouldn't play
No,
that
no,
again. Like you would play back to back party before you play that.
No, hell no. I don't like back to back, bro.
Okay, spitting, bro.
You keep saying I will play that again. No, I
I'm
won't.
saying,
I don't
but
like back to back.
but
That
back
shit
to
was
back,
whack.
culturally, back to back has more replay value than story of Adidon.
He was Drake, bro.
No, I think it was the
You
record.
talking about Pusha T, who only raps about drugs? He got like 6 fans. I'm one of them.
But Pusha, I'm a fan of Drake.
Okay, he got 7.
Yo, you an asshole. I'm gonna tag Pusha. I'm gonna tag
He got
Pusha.
7. And I'm not saying that to diss him. I'm saying
No,
that like
story
he has a
of-
particular demographic that only attracts to him. So for him to get into this battle and the way he pulled it off, I enjoyed it.
No, I agree with that. Like, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I just couldn't put it in there because it was impactful as far as lines or bringing the, like you said, it made Drake be quiet and drop the bomb about him having
And it made
kid.
everybody say, "Oh shit, I want to see what Drake said."
Yes,
And he didn't do nothing.
It just didn't have enough replay value.
It didn't have to. It shut the whole shit down.
It did. It
shut it
Nah,
down.
It did.
It shut it down.
And then he took a.
He want to do press conferences
He
with
took a-
title and shit, man.
He took a, he took a JB. He did the OJ. So I just felt like Drake was more, when Drake went at me, it was just more creative. Although Pusha was creative, but Pusha isn't a record maker. Drake is a strategic record maker.
Yeah, with record writers. and shit,
Okay,
too.
all right, that did
Just
it.
saying, let's
All
not neglect.
Okay, but
let's not neglect that.
I agree with. I didn't go that far. You weren't going
Okay,
that far.
I'm just saying. So that's why I put the Pusha T at my 5,
That's a big record. That was a big tune.
just to shut down the man who's on top.
He don't like Drake. So
No, it's not
let's
that I
just
don't
be
like
clear.
Drake. I just think that
telling-
we give him more than
I'm
he's
telling
due.
everybody.
We give him more than he's due. You know what I'm saying? You give him more than he's due. And everybody gives him excuses for not, why he's bigger. He didn't have to answer back to Pusha and blah 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 and all this XYZ. But
Yeah.
you know, we murdered Meek for it. We gave this man a pass.
Well, I think with Meek, what it is with Meek was a battle rapper. That's what, like 50 said, you're a battle rapper. That's your area. Drake, we don't expect Drake to respond like that. He's not a battle rapper. You come from this, you got signed from T.I. by that, like I'm that. Like it's kind of different for Meek because you would give smoke to anybody on the block. Drake, you ain't give him nothing. Like at least Cannabis tried. Cannabis tried. Like he's like,
Cannabis
all right.
did. Don't say he tried. He
well,
did.
I mean, but anybody, I guess at that time, you was looking at LL and Cannabis. You were you're in the culture, and you was probably hip on Cannabis. Somebody might not have been hip on Cannabis.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, he tried to get him, but he didn't get LL. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I thought about it. Like, yo, he tried to get LL, but he did body it. So I think for Meek, it was like Meek. he comes from that and he didn't do nothing about it.
Gotcha.
And he started it.
Yeah.
You started it. Like,
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you couldn't finish it. And
You ain't-
Pusha started it with Drake. Also, Drake didn't start it with Pusha. Like, that was going on for years, but Pusha
he
did
pushed
it
the
on the
envelope.
album, and then Drake wanted to respond, thought it was nice, and Pusha just
Pusha
KO'd him.
KO'd him.
You know what I'm
KO'd
saying?
him.
KO'd him.
him. Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear.
I agree with
KO'd
that.
him.
I agree with that. But I'm saying he didn't have that wasn't bigger than back to back.
I'm not competing against back to
I'm
back.
just saying.
I'm just saying that I'm not competing into back to back.
No,
We
I
back
know.
to that motherfucking
No,
record again.
Yeah,
Every time y'all youngins get back to back, man,
yeah.
fuck that shit. Back to
He
trash.
He said back to back like Jordan in '96. You know what I mean?
What the fuck was so?
I don't know. I messed that up.
What the fuck? I just ain't. My man, and you was into it. Man.
Yo,
I just feel like
I don't know
we
what
give
I
him
said.
more than he's due, bro.
Drake is our hove, man. Yo, okay. Listen, Kendrick is a man. That's for
We're
another
gonna
day.
say that for another
For another
day.
day, man.
We're gonna say that for another day.
King of R&B.
Okay, you asked me this question today. Is R. Kelly, despite all the crazy shit,
Sorry, Mario.
his antics,
And Jacquees.
his problems, his demons,
Yeah.
is he the king of R&B?
Hey, man. Hey, he's a sick dude. But hey, man. Yo, he's the king of R&B.
He's the king of
bro.
R&B. I said he was the king of R&B hip hop and R&B.
Well,
like he merged both of them together very well, and he had a long run. Like
Yeah.
people forget how
Years.
long he was, and even though he jacked his style from Aaron Hall,
Yeah,
he
I agree.
cold stole that shit.
I agree.
Throughout the years, he managed to keep reinventing
Himself,
himself to stay relevant.
And sound, yeah.
Into hip hop and R&B itself, and he made some good music.
From
Despite
Biggie.
his shit, I just can't
Michael
listen to
Jackson.
him.
No, I feel I'm struggling with that because it's like I believe I can fly, man. Like
damn,
world's greatest, bro.
Like we can't play those no more.
Like Steppin' Name Love,
this
man.
is fucked up, man.
Yo, can you chill?
Foul, bro.
But nah,
I can't. I can't.
The record he did for Whitney Houston, Celine Dion,
Yeah,
Michael Jackson.
He got joints.
Like,
man.
it's just like,
he's,
yo.
he's a very talented.
He could play, he could
man.
write, sing,
It's-
arrange.
Yeah.
Dang, bro, he a beast.
And
bro.
it's hard to put aside, the information that we know of him.
Yeah,
People say, separate the artist. I can't.
yeah, I can.
I can't. I can't separate the artist. It's very difficult to separate the artist because you start to personalize, their intent
Behind the record,
Even though it might not even be associated,
it just
I
still
can't help the fact. You know what I'm saying?
like who
what
you
he
trying,
did.
like who body calling. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
Who you want to bump and grind with?
who you want to? Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Who you want to sex you?
Damn.
Okay.
okay.
Who you,
All right,
oh
brother.
man, I'm a R. Kelly fan,
All right,
man.
I'm gonna pray for you,
I
brother.
was, man.
Yeah, he most definitely
Stupid.
he most definitely was in that spot, but unfortunately I think
Who
his
remind you of the Jeep? You know what I
his
mean?
circumstances forfeited him, man. It's like a baseball player who hit home runs and got
Yeah.
the title, and then you find out he was doping. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, you had all them home runs,
That's
but
that's more like Drake.
you was doping. you,
R. Kelly wrote everything, played everything. I'm saying,
yo,
nah, but
stupid.
you're right.
So I mean, I don't see a lot of artists kind of stepped into his shoes and try to mimic a lot
Nobody
of his stuff.
could do it like him. Man.
Nobody could. I mean,
Trey
even
tried.
even Trey Songz did a lot. Mimicked a lot of the R. Kelly.
He just did, but it wasn't. It was like R. Kelly was Jordan. Trey is like a LeBron or Kobe. Like,
Yes.
Like you can't. He did it with so much finesse.
Yeah,
it
we
wasn't,
see we see how good you are. We see
Yeah.
you follow the rhythm
Yeah.
and the movements
And
of
the
those
vocal-
before
yeah.
you, but you just didn't roll it off.
Off,
right.
yeah,
it ain't
it ain't
roll
good.
off right. You know what
Roll
I'm
it
saying?
off.
It ain't roll off. You
yeah.
kind of
Forcing it.
You know what I'm saying? You busting a sweat more, a little bit more
Then you
sweat
should.
than you should. But
Yo, you stupid.
unfortunately, man, R. Kelly fucked that package up.
Yeah, he did.
I mean,
He did.
I don't think we're gonna hear R. Kelly record.
Ever again.
Damn, that shit's crazy.
Ever again.
Your
bro.
whole catalog, your whole
Sony
legacy.
drop you.
Just
And I think people still play him. I know that. I know that for a fact. People still play him.
I hope they do this to everybody, especially white folks who got records and got do shit like that. I mean, we still play Elvis. Elvis was a dope
I don't
bag.
play Elvis. Yeah.
I don't like Elvis.
Neither. I think he's
I just
trash.
mean in general, like
Yeah. Sorry for anybody who's.
I don't fuck with the boy.
Yeah, I don't fuck.
with
Didn't he take people our stuff?
He took a lot of stuff.
Dance moves, songs.
All that. His whole style.
Yeah, he trash. But speaking of white folks, sorry we say it like that though.
Damn.
The election is coming up. The last thing I want to talk about is that the election is coming up for this year. Throughout this pandemic, we know that things are still very tough right now
Yes, they
with
are.
the coronavirus. Sending condolences and prayers out to those being affected by it.
Yes.
Please stay safe. But at the same time, we have an important election coming up. We know who's in office right now, and I feel like if it's our responsibility as a people to kind of spread awareness to go to the polls and vote.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
I like the fact you brought that up. We do have so much more power in the decision making.
Then we know.
Our numbers do count.
Yes.
For years, I was like, oh, what's gonna change for me? And despite who was in office, immediate change didn't happen to me. That I saw it, but my vote does help add towards the direction for that change.
Indeed.
So I too, I voted one time in my whole entire life for presidency.
Me too.
With a felon.
Ooh,
With a felony.
talk that talk.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
know what I mean?
With a felony.
Ex-con talk.
You know what I mean? So it is possible for even the brothers that's out there who did come home. We did lose our rights while we were a ward of the state, but once we were released, we retained those rights to vote.
Let them know,
all my
son.
brothers that's home out here and want to make your numbers count, you too could get out there and vote. Register to vote and make your call, man. I'm doing it this year myself because last year I didn't do it, and I'm looking at the circumstances and some of the stuff that we're facing, and it's like, damn. You know what I mean? In a sense, my vote helped elect someone that I didn't want in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
yeah.
this year I'm going to add my vote, and I'm going to make that shit count.
I fuck with that, bro.
like
Me
it.
too. I'm gonna try
There
to
you
do
go.
what I do.
Bring it in,
You know what I'm
bro.
saying? But I do feel like, in the words of Puff, but we've been saying this. You've been saying it. We've been people who are already woke and understand politics. I do feel like there should be a black agenda in place for us, or minority agenda for us as a people. White people know what they're getting.
Yeah, even with the agendas, I think even when there is one,
It has to go.
there's no
through
pressure to fulfill on it.
Okay, I agree.
And I think we got to apply the pressure
for that to
for that.
happen.
You know what I'm saying? We got to be more active in our chants.
Yes,
And not only our chants on social media and our chants at home,
but voting.
But voting and
In the
also,
streets.
Yeah, also talking to your assembly person or your borough president,
Yeah,
and pushing
talk
those
that. Your
issues
mayor,
because if we
governor.
don't say nothing, they gonna keep doing what they want
course,
to do.
of
You know what I'm
course.
saying? So we got to be more active in that stance to make sure that the agendas are not only presented, because there's been presentations of what we or what's for us, and then it don't happen.
Yeah,
We have to push the envelope to make sure that anything that's
happens.
presented for us, not just us in a sense of black people, but presented for us, is most
yeah.
definitely pushed for the envelope to occur.
to happen. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And that's something that we got to do as a people. And I hope times
I'm
like
with that.
this provokes that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Times like this provoke that. So it most
I
definitely
agree.
should be an interesting time.
It should be.
Should be. No, it is, really.
We know that,
Yeah.
but
And
they know that.
A lot of people going to find out.
Yep. Because if he
Find out.
back in office, it's gonna be an issue. But thank you for tuning in. Please go vote. Please stay safe.
That's right. Wash your hands and your ass. I'm from Brooklyn.
I'm sincere.
And this is old school.
New school.
And it's another one.
You're.
Wash your ass, man. That's on air too.